What if the world you know today just completely disappears within the next decade? Welcome to This Explainer. The future of artificial intelligence isn't some distant, hazy horizon anymore. It's arriving right now, and it's coming faster than anyone, even the top experts, ever anticipated. We are standing right on the razor's edge of a completely new era. And honestly, the sheer scale of what's coming is going to completely reshape human civilization.
So, think about this. What if artificial intelligence actually becomes smarter than humans? Now, I want to be perfectly clear right out of the gate here. This is not science fiction. We're not talking about a plot from some blockbuster Hollywood movie. This is a rapidly approaching real-world reality. We are actively transitioning from a world where humans are the absolute, definitive intellectual authority to a world where we might share or even completely hand over that mantle.
Okay, let's dive into this, because AI isn't just something waiting quietly in the wings. Right now, literally, in this exact moment, artificial intelligence is out there writing books, it's creating incredibly realistic high-definition videos, and it's autonomously driving cars on our actual streets. It is actively replacing workers and building the next generation of robots. The biggest companies and the most powerful governments in the world are currently locked in this relentless, high-stakes race, pouring billions upon billions of dollars into dominating this exact technology.
Chapter 1. The AI Revolution Begins.
To really wrap our heads around the sheer magnitude of what we're facing today, we kind of have to rewind a bit. We need to set the historical context, because this dream of building machines that can actually think like us, it didn't just pop up overnight. It started decades ago, way before the smartphones and super-fast processors we all just take for granted now. Back in the 1950s, scientists had this incredibly wild dream of thinking machines. And, at the time, computers were massive. They took up whole rooms, they were slow, and honestly, pretty primitive. But the spark was officially lit at the 1956 Dartmouth College Conference, which most people consider the true birth of AI. For decades after that, progress was painstakingly slow. Computers just didn't have the juice, and data was severely limited. But then, boom, the internet age happened. Suddenly, billions of us were online, generating this massive, unprecedented explosion of data. And that created the perfect storm, an incredibly rich environment for AI to finally evolve into what we're seeing right now.
And that perfect storm, it gave us machine learning. Think of this as a system where computers learn patterns directly from all that data, instead of being manually, line by line, programmed by a human coder. So the absolute crucial point here is that this exact shift, this new ability for a machine to practically teach itself by absorbing massive amounts of information, is what truly ignited the modern AI revolution we're living through today.
Chapter 2. AI is already here.
Now, what's really interesting here is that while we almost always talk about AI as this futuristic sci-fi concept, the unseen reality is that it's already here. In fact, it's become completely invisible. It is deeply, permanently embedded in your everyday routine right now, just humming away quietly in the background of almost everything you do. Every single time you unlock your phone using your face, that's AI. When you're mindlessly scrolling through social media or picking a movie on a streaming platform, AI algorithms are silently predicting what you'll like and keeping you hooked. Behind the scenes, your bank is using sophisticated AI at this very second to detect fraud and protect your money, while hospitals are literally starting to use it to identify complex diseases.
And because it's so incredibly integrated into our lives, modern AI systems are advancing at a speed that is, frankly, becoming very difficult to comprehend. They can understand nuance in language, they're creating stunning art, composing original music, and holding real, fluid conversations. Experts used to think human-level AI, that massive milestone where machines match our cognitive abilities across the board, was decades and decades away. But the sheer relentless velocity of progress right now means that milestone is rushing toward us much, much sooner than anyone ever thought possible.
Chapter 3. The Battle for Control.
As this technology accelerates, the stakes are rising exponentially. The global AI race is absolutely no longer just about building a neat, convenient little app for your phone. It is about absolute global power, massive economic influence, and ultimately determining who gets to write the rules for the rest of the 21st century. Look at the shift in power dynamics here. The 20th century was completely defined by oil and traditional infrastructure, but 21st century power, it's defined by AI, incredibly advanced computer chips, and absolutely massive data centers. Tech giants are building these colossal facilities all over the planet. They consume staggering amounts of electricity just training these AI systems day and night. Many insiders believe that whoever controls advanced AI will essentially control the future economy. We're talking about a technology that is potentially more valuable than oil itself.
And that realization has triggered an unprecedented global AI race. The United States, China, Europe, and these massive multinational tech giants are all pouring billions upon billions of dollars into research and development. Every major power on Earth is desperate to become the absolute leader. Why? Because the country that manages to lead in AI might just dictate the future world order. It is a terrifyingly high-stakes competition, and it's accelerating every single year with absolutely no finish line in sight.
Chapter 4: The Future of Jobs and Robots. All right, we have to address the elephant in the room. The biggest, most existential fear we all share. What happens to us? What happens to our jobs, our livelihoods? We are facing a totally unprecedented disruption of human labor and a massive loss of economic certainty as these systems become more capable. And it's crucial to understand how different this disruption is from the past. For centuries, technological progress, like the Industrial Revolution, was basically about machines replacing physical labor. It saved our backs, right? But future disruption is an entirely different beast. AI is uniquely poised to replace mental labor. It isn't just taking over the heavy lifting anymore. It is coming for the heavy thinking.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what's at stake. Mental labor that we all used to consider totally safe. Writers, designers, programmers, editors, and even highly specialized fields like lawyers and doctors are now directly in the crosshairs of disruption. Companies are eagerly using AI to automate these tasks, increase efficiency, and drastically boost their profits. We're looking at a future where millions of workers will have to adapt to completely new industries. And that brings up some very serious, very dark concerns about widening the gap of economic inequality between the few who own the AI and the millions who are displaced by it.
But wait, it gets crazier, because AI is no longer just trapped inside our computer screens. It is actively bleeding out into the physical world. Step 1. We're already seeing humanoid robots becoming incredibly advanced, fully capable of walking around and speaking naturally. Step 2. Automated factories are now heavily utilizing these AI-powered machines. Step 3 brings us autonomous delivery systems being tested in cities all over the globe. And finally, Step 4. These systems will very soon become completely commonplace in our homes, our hospitals, and our restaurants. AI is literally merging with robotics to break out of the digital realm and actively inhabit our physical civilization.
Chapter 5: The Dark Side of AI.
As these exceptionally smart machines enter our physical world and integrate into our deepest networks, the potential for catastrophe grows exponentially. We have to look at the darker, more mysterious side of this rapid innovation, because the risks are profound. We're talking mass surveillance, where governments can seamlessly track entire populations using AI facial recognition. Deepfakes, which are now fully capable of spreading perfectly convincing misinformation and just tearing at the fabric of truth itself. Severe cybersecurity threats, where AI launches highly advanced, totally automated digital attacks. And perhaps most terrifying of all, warfare, driven by autonomous weapons that can make life and death decisions without a human ever pulling the trigger. The threat of us completely losing control? It's very, very real.
Which brings us to a concept called the technological singularity. This is defined as that exact moment when AI surpasses human intelligence, making its further growth completely, entirely unpredictable. Nobody, and I mean nobody, truly knows what happens after this point. If AI becomes capable of independently improving its own code, its evolution could explode so fast that it goes far beyond our comprehension or our ability to control it.
Now, you might be wondering, well, why don't we just slow down? Some experts are practically begging the industry to build safeguards before it's too late. But the harsh reality is that the global AI race is practically unstoppable. Because of that massive geopolitical battle for power we talked about earlier, hitting the brakes to build human safeguards might be practically impossible. No country and absolutely no tech giant wants to be the one to slow down and risk falling behind their rivals.
Chapter 6: The Future of Humanity. But listen, despite these incredibly severe risks, we cannot ignore the utopian possibilities this technology offers. It's a wildly dual-natured era we're entering, and the positive potential for our species is just as breathtaking as the risks. AI is unlocking possibilities that could literally elevate us to an entirely new level of civilization. We are talking about using AI to rapidly discover cures for stubborn, deadly diseases. It could personalize and completely revolutionize global education, drastically increase food production to finally eliminate world hunger, and even help us design the deep space technology we need to explore the stars. AI could, quite literally, be the exact tool we need to finally solve humanity's greatest, most persistent global problems.
We are standing dead center at a crossroads. On one side, humanity's greatest invention. On the other, humanity's greatest mistake. The relationship between humans and machines is undeniably going to define the next century. But the final outcome, it doesn't just depend on the machines themselves. It depends entirely on the people, the massive corporations, and the governments who currently hold the keys.
The decisions being made right now, in this very decade, will shape the entire trajectory of our species forever. The question is no longer whether artificial intelligence will change the world. It already has. The real question is, are we ready for what comes next? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. This is a topic that is literally evolving by the minute, and honestly, understanding it is the very first step in surviving it. Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll see you next time.